Hey guys, it's Ian at SS8000 Cars and welcome to the mess at Frankfurt, where today is the first press day for the Frankfurt Motor Show. Now there's still quite a few vehicles and I'm actually standing in front of the Porsche Taycan stand, where as you can see we can't see the car yet, but I'm sure they'll be unveiling that fairly soon. Nice numbers here at this time in the morning, quite a pleasant time to be walking around the show. So Chris and I are going to we'll leave the Taycan until later and we'll come back, but we are looking forward to what's on offer. So I think what we'll do first is we'll pop up and have a look at what Porsches they've got on the upper stand. The big news on the main Porsche 911 side of the stand is the launch of the standard 911 Carrera. So this is the base model, but based upon the 992. Now we've done this before, but it is worth a look because I think this will be by far and away the most popular model in the range. Obviously exactly the same as the Carrera S, which was launched at Geneva. Very smart. 65 brake horsepower down on the S, so it's 380 brake horsepower. But you know, in today's world, that's quite a lot of power. Although those of you that know me from old will know that I've said in the past that 380 is just not quite enough. Of course, we had 380 brake horsepower in our GT4. One of the things, as you can see with Porsche, is the high quality of materials that they use, both outside and inside. So the paint's of tremendous quality, and the inside, fantastic leather. I love the dashboard. It's obviously electronic dials at the front of the car, with the management information system in the center. Very, very much like both the Cayenne and the Panamera. But you know, they really have gone the extra mile in this car. A beautiful car. I think if I was going to be using this as an everyday car, I think this would suffice very nicely. I think obviously on the odd occasion that you're going to be booting it around the country lanes or on the Autobahn, then perhaps the Carrera S might be more appropriate. Carrera S having over 440 brake horse. I think this would be adequate for everyday use. I'm hoping that at some stage they'll bring out a hybrid version of this, because apparently there is room for the batteries in this particular 992 chassis. What I'd like to do now is move over to the Macan Turbo, which was launched for the Frankfurt Motor Show, and we have it here in silver. Now we're producing 434 brake horsepower in this car, so it's up almost 38 brake horsepower. Basically the same inside as the standard Macan that we tested quite recently, but it should endow it with a fair amount of power. Now we have heard no news yet of a performance pack that may be available for this car. This is using, I understand, the 2.9 six-cylinder engine as opposed to the 3.6 that we had in the previous generation Macan Turbo. So they've stuck with the push button on the center console, but the new MMI interface with the large 10.4-inch screen in the center is carried over really from the Cayenne. There's a little bit of room in the rear. I mean, I always said with our Macan that probably its Achilles heel was always the lack of room in the rear. But the boots, excellent boot space. And we took our Macan Turbo to the south of France, so it's a nice car to drive down the autobahn. Oh, sorry, the autoroutes in France. Got a slight bluey tinge to this, the paintwork on this car. It's rather nice. Top-end Burmeister system. I think this I think is your SUV of choice if you really enjoy quite spirited driving, because they say the body control is absolutely excellent. Now, I'm not sure whether or not this has standard air suspension. But I think it's definitely has to be on the list. A car that we've not actually featured before on the channel is the Cayenne Coupe. Now, this is also the launch of the e-hybrid Turbo S Cayenne Coupe. So 680 HP. It's a seriously quick motor car. I quite like the coupe shape. I mean, it's as you can see, it probably makes a difference to the inside of the boot because it's raked down much earlier. This one has the carbon fiber roof. Personally, I'd go for the panoramic roof, but it has all the benefits of our Panamera e-hybrid, but with the Turbo SE engine. So it's got the main turbo engine from the Cayenne Turbo, mated with the electric motor that I have in mind. Total combined total combined horsepower of 680. Quite a machine. Now, one of the things that I have noticed from sitting in one before is how you lose quite a bit of the front windscreen. So it's a much shorter rake on the front screen. Obviously, they've used Porsche historical colours on the inside of the seats. And again, this obviously features the latest dash from the Cayenne, which is the large infotainment centre screen in the centre console and the digital dials in front of you with the single analogue rev counter. It's quite smart. I've always quite liked this. This was originally, I understand, from the 911 RS, but they've obviously had it in the 911R and in the 991 2 GT3. Again, beautifully finished. Yeah, you lose a bit of headroom in the rear as a consequence of the coupe lines, because you can see that it's at its highest in the centre, just above the front seats, and then it's tapering off from that point. But I think overall it's nice, and if carrying 5 is not a priority, although clearly you could carry 5, I think they do a bench seat in the rear. This one doesn't actually have one, but it's a little tighter in here than it is in the main car. Not sure about it in white, but I think if you've got a very big car, sometimes it's a metallic pearlescent white. I think if you have a big car, sometimes it's better in a dark colour. Nicer.